There's a war happening inside you. You may not see the explosions, but you feel them. In your chest when you wake up dreading another day of the same cycle. In your head when your own thoughts turn against you. In your soul, when the fire that once burned bright feels like it's fading into smoke. You live in a world that wants you distracted, drained, and dependent. A system built not to free your mind, but to capture it. They won't chain your body anymore. They'll sedate your attention. They'll drown your purpose beneath a flood of cheap dopamine and hollow pleasures. The screens, the noise, the endless scroll. These are the new shackles. Every second you give to mindless comfort is a second you surrender to decay. And while most drift through life with glazed eyes and dull hearts, a few, a rare few, awaken to the truth that the battle is not external, but internal. The war for your destiny is fought in silence, not in the streets, but in your thoughts. The enemy isn't the government. It isn't your boss. It isn't society. It's the whisper inside your own skull saying, "It doesn't matter." It's the quiet shrug when passion calls and you ignore it. It's the hesitation that kills opportunity before it breathes. It's the worry that drains your energy before the fight begins. It's the comfort that promises safety, but delivers slow death. Most people don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they never knew they were at war. They never knew that indifference, indecision, doubt, worry, and pessimism were not habits, but weapons, sharpened by a world that profits from your confusion. They call it normal life. I call it a battlefield of the mind. And if you don't stand guard over your thoughts, someone else will, and they'll use your own emotions to enslave you. You must understand this. Your mind is the most valuable territory on earth. It's where every victory is conceived and every defeat is born. Every thought is a seed. Every belief, a weapon. Every doubt, a crack in the armor of your soul. You cannot afford to live unconsciously anymore. You cannot afford to drift through your days like a passenger in your own story. The world is growing darker, and only those who have forged their minds into steel will survive it. This isn't about motivation. This is about survival. Because when the mind breaks, the man follows. And if you don't take control of your mental fortress, the forces of indifference and despair will occupy it and raise their flag where your purpose once stood. So ask yourself, are you in control of your thoughts? Or are your thoughts in control of you? Are you using your mind? Or is it using you? Have you become a master of yourself? Or a prisoner of your impulses? If you truly want freedom, you must first win the war within. That means confronting the attitude diseases that destroy lives from the inside out. Indifference, indecision, doubt, worry, and complaint. They're subtle. They're seductive. They disguise themselves as rationality, safety, realism. But behind their masks, they are death. Death of spirit, death of progress, death of legacy. The warrior's task is to identify them, purge them, and rebuild himself from the ashes. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be. But it's the only way to become unbreakable in a world built to keep you broken. Below are the 5 laws, the 5 steps to guard the gates of your mind. Each one a weapon, each one a discipline, each one a test of whether you truly have the will to rise above this century's quiet war. Learn them, live them, and when the world tries to drown you in its noise, you'll stand silent, centered, and immovable. Step 1. Burn the disease of indifference. Indifference is the quiet death of potential. It doesn't come for you screaming. It comes whispering, calmly, softly, like a fog that rolls in while you're asleep. You don't notice it taking over your heart until one day you wake up and the fire is gone. It begins small. You stop caring as much. You stop trying as hard. You stop feeling the weight of purpose on your shoulders. You tell yourself you're just tired, just waiting for the right time, the right sign, the right alignment of the stars. But deep down, you know the truth. You've started to drift. And here's the cruelest law of life. You cannot drift uphill. You can only drift downward. You can only drift into mediocrity, into comfort, into silence. No one drifts into greatness. You climb into it. You fight for it. You bleed for it. Indifference is seductive because it offers peace without effort. It says you don't have to care. It says relax, it's fine. It tells you that maybe this is as far as you'll go, and that's okay. But it's not okay. It's never okay. Because once you stop caring, once you stop showing up with intensity, the universe stops recognizing your presence. You disappear long before you die. The indifferent man doesn't fail. He fades. He walks through life like a shadow of what he could have been. He laughs at passion, mocks ambition, and mistakes numbness for strength. He says, nothing matters, thinking it makes him wise. But in truth, it makes him empty. Understand this. To live fully, you must burn with intensity. You must pour yourself into what you do, not because it's always easy or rewarding, but because you must never allow yourself to become lukewarm. Every great warrior, every creator, every conqueror, they all shared one thing: a ruthless refusal to be indifferent. They didn't wait for inspiration. They summoned it through effort. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created them through motion. The world belongs to those who care too much, those who get obsessed, those who are willing to look insane to the indifferent masses. The delusion of the mediocre man is this: if I had a better job, if I had more support, if I had a different environment, then I'd pour it on. But no, it doesn't work that way. If you don't pour it on now, you never will. The man who says, I'll give more when life gives me more, will die waiting. The truth is brutal. Wherever you are, pour it on. Even if you hate where you are, even if you feel trapped. Because either your energy will expand the opportunity, or it will expose the lie and push you toward your next mountain. But you must move. Apathy is not rest. Apathy is decay disguised as calm. The moment you feel yourself going numb, that's the signal to wake up, to act, to reclaim your fire. And it starts with awareness. Catch yourself when you start to say, it doesn't matter. That phrase is poison. Every time you whisper it, your soul withers a little more. Ask yourself, instead, what if it does matter? What if this small effort, this one action, this one decision, is the hinge that turns the door of your destiny? You won't know until you give everything you have. So make this your creed. If I'm going to fail, I'll fail with blood on my hands, sweat on my skin, and fire in my eyes. If I'm going to lose, I'll lose loudly, giving everything, holding nothing back. But I will not fade quietly into the background like the indifferent masses who spend their lives shrugging at destiny. Every action you take builds momentum. Every ounce of effort poured into the present moment multiplies into unseen rewards. Even in the jobs you hate, even in the struggles you don't understand, pour it on. Because life doesn't reward the indifferent, it rewards the engaged. Remember this law of the warrior. Energy cannot lie. Whatever you give to the world returns to you in the same frequency. Give the world indifference, and it will be indifferent to you. Give the world fire, and it will ignite in your favor. You don't need more luck. You don't need more time. You need more intensity. You need to show the universe that you're awake, that you're still dangerous, still hungry, still fighting. So rise again with conviction. Work like your life depends on it, because it does. Move like you're running out of time, because you are. Speak with power. Live with purpose. Love with fury. And fight for your dream like you'll never get another chance. Indifference dies the moment passion returns. And passion returns the moment you decide that mediocrity will never be your resting place. Pour it on, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, no matter how small or insignificant it seems. The warrior knows. It's not about the size of the task. It's about the size of the spirit behind it. Burn indifference out of your system. Turn your apathy into motion. Turn your motion into obsession. Turn your obsession into mastery. And when the world sees you coming, when they see that you've stopped drifting and started climbing, they'll know the indifferent version of you has been burned alive. And what walks forward from the ashes is something unstoppable. Step 2. Shatter indecision and move forward. Indecision is the silent executioner of dreams. It doesn't strike with fury. It strangles you slowly, one maybe at a time. Most people don't fail because they make the wrong move. They fail because they never make any move. They sit on the fence, waiting for clarity, waiting for permission, waiting for the universe to tap them on the shoulder and say, "It's time." But that moment never comes. The fence is comfortable. You can see both sides. You can talk about your options. You can imagine both futures. But you never live either. You become a spectator in your own story. And the longer you stay there, the weaker you get. Not because you lack ability, but because hesitation eats your courage like rust eats steel. You tell yourself, "I just need more time to think." But no, you don't. You've already thought too much. You've turned every dream into a calculation, every calling into a debate. You've killed your own momentum in the name of caution. The truth is this: you'll never be certain. There will never be a perfect moment, a perfect plan, a perfect path. Certainty doesn't come before the leap. It comes after you survive the fall. Every warrior knows this. We don't walk into battle because we're sure we'll win. We walk in because we refuse to rot waiting. You cannot think your way into progress. You must move your way into it. The universe bends for those who move with conviction. Even if they're wrong, their motion creates clarity. Even if they fall, their courage builds muscle for the next climb. The weak think indecision is safety, but it's actually exposure. The longer you delay, the more you lose. Opportunities expire, time decays, and confidence evaporates. You cannot keep standing at the crossroads of your life, staring down both paths, paralyzed by what-ifs. You have to choose, and you have to commit. The moment you do, life reshapes itself around your decision. Do not mistake movement for recklessness. The warrior doesn't rush. He acts. He knows that clarity comes from collision, not contemplation. A stagnant blade will never learn how to cut. It must swing. It must meet resistance. It must test its edge. You will make mistakes. You will fail. But indecision guarantees failure without the honor of having fought. Let's be clear. Indecision is fear wearing the mask of logic. It pretends to protect you from regret, But in reality, it keeps you chained to mediocrity. It says, wait until you're ready. But you're never ready. You become ready through action. You learn faster by failing forward than by standing still analyzing the ground beneath you. The indecisive man dies full of potential, untested, unproven, and unfulfilled. Every day you hesitate, you reinforce the lie that you don't trust yourself. Every decision avoided is a declaration of weakness. But every decision made, even the wrong ones, strengthens your spirit. Think of your life like a battlefield. There's smoke, confusion, noise. You won't always see the path clearly. But if you keep your sword sheathed, if you stand waiting for perfect vision, you'll die with your blade still clean. And no warrior wants that. So pick a side. Pick a purpose. Pick a fight worth bleeding for. And move with everything you have. You can always pivot. You can always adapt. You can always course correct. But you can't redirect a ship that never leaves the harbor. The ocean doesn't reveal its secrets to those who stand on the dock staring at the waves. It reveals them to those who dare to sail into the storm. And understand this. When you make a decision, the world rearranges itself to test it. It will throw chaos your way, not because it hates you, but because it wants to know if you're serious. Most people crumble the moment resistance shows up, thinking they chose wrong. But the warrior knows the opposite is true. Resistance is proof you chose right. You don't build strength from ease. You build strength from commitment under fire. You grow when you say, I'm staying in this fight no matter how ugly it gets. That's what separates the indecisive from the relentless. The indecisive man looks for guarantees. The relentless man creates them. The weak pray for perfect conditions. The warrior builds them with blood, sweat, and consistency. You want to know the real risk? It's not failure. It's regret. It's standing at the end of your life, realizing you waited for permission that never came. It's dying with your potential still inside you, untested, unexpressed, unknown. So burn indecision to ash. Burn the fence that's been cutting into your soul. Burn the maybe that's kept your life on pause. Pick a path, even if you're terrified. Pick a mission, even if you're unsure. Pick yourself, even when the world tells you not to. And once you do, move. Move with such conviction that your doubt can't keep up. Move with such focus that hesitation loses track of you. Move with such violence of intent that fear itself bows before your motion. There is no glory in standing still. There is only decay. Progress doesn't belong to the smartest or the luckiest. It belongs to those who move. It belongs to those who have the courage to say, I may not know what's on the other side, but I refuse to die wondering. So step forward, swing your sword, take the shot, make the call, say yes, say no, but say something. Because silence and stagnation will destroy you faster than any wrong decision ever could. The road will reveal itself as you walk it. And even if you stumble, even if you crawl, even if you fail, you'll know this. You moved. You lived. And you chose your own path when everyone else froze. That is what makes you different. That is what makes you dangerous. Indecision is the death of warriors. Action is their resurrection. Step 3. Destroy self-doubt and replace it with belief. There's a voice inside you that's been whispering for years. You know the one I'm talking about. It sounds like reason. It sounds like caution. It even sounds like you. But it isn't you. It's the echo of every time you were told you weren't enough. It's the ghost of every failure you never forgave yourself for. It's the memory of every hand that pushed you down, Every glance that made you question your worth. Every moment life demanded strength before you had a chance to build it. That voice, the one that says, you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, it's not your protector, it's your captor. And it will keep you chained for the rest of your life if you don't learn to silence it. Self-doubt doesn't show up in the beginning. It waits. It hides in the shadows until you start to rise. It shows up right when the path gets steep, right when you start to believe you might be capable of more. That's when it whispers, "Who are you to think you can do this?" And most people listen. They mistake that whisper for humility. They confuse weakness for wisdom. They kneel before the voice that was meant to be slain. But make no mistake, self-doubt is not humility. It's self-sabotage dressed as reason. It's the mind's attempt to stay comfortable in chains. It wants you safe, small, predictable. Because belief is dangerous. Belief gives you power, and power makes you uncontrollable. The world doesn't fear your failure. It fears your awakening. Because once you believe in yourself completely, you stop being manageable. You stop being manipulated. You start building things that the weak call impossible. Belief is the most dangerous force on earth. It's what turns ordinary men into legends. It's what moves mountains, builds empires, and rewrites history. And yet, belief cannot be gifted. It must be forged. Forging belief requires suffering, the kind that cracks you open and forces you to confront what's inside. You don't find confidence by reading about it. You find it by bleeding for it. You find it when you face the storm and realize you didn't shatter. You find it in the nights when everything falls apart and you still rise before the sun. You find it in the days you fail publicly and still have the courage to show up again. You find it when you stop waiting for someone to rescue you and realize you were the rescuer all along. Every warrior you've ever admired, every conqueror, every visionary, every unstoppable soul, had to wage war with self-doubt before they ever faced the world. Because the first battlefield is internal. If you can't win there, you can't win anywhere. Doubt is the disease that kills before the fight begins. It convinces you that preparation is pointless. It whispers that others are chosen and you are not. It tricks you into surrendering before you've even drawn your sword. But belief is armor forged in fire. It doesn't mean you never question yourself. It means when the questioning starts, you answer with action. You silence fear with evidence. And you already have evidence. Look back. Think about everything that tried to break you and didn't. Every heartbreak that could have turned you bitter, but didn't. Every loss that could have buried you, but somehow became your foundation. You have scars that prove your strength, but you've been treating them like wounds instead of medals. You've been hiding the very proof that you're capable. The truth is, you've survived everything that was designed to destroy you. You've endured storms that would have shattered most people. You've rebuilt yourself again and again, quietly, without applause, without rescue, and yet, you still doubt your power? Number. That ends now. Belief is not a fantasy. It's a decision. It's the daily choice to say, I may not know how, but I know I will. It's the audacity to expect success even when logic screams otherwise. It's faith in motion, not blind, but earned. Because belief doesn't require evidence. Belief creates evidence. When you act like the person you wish to become, you start gathering proof that you already are. Every victory, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the fortress of your self-trust. And once that fortress is built, no voice, not from the world, not from your past, not from your doubt, can breach it again. Belief turns chaos into clarity. It turns noise into focus. It transforms fear into fuel. Because the moment you truly believe in yourself, the universe stops testing if you're serious and starts bending to your will. But understand, belief must be guarded like treasure. It's fragile in the beginning. Doubt will try to reclaim its throne. It will use your failures against you. It will use your delays, your mistakes, your old patterns. It will whisper, "See, you still haven't changed." When it does, don't argue with it. Prove it wrong with motion. Because belief without action is fantasy. But belief followed by discipline becomes destiny. Faith in yourself is the seed. Consistency is the water. Action is the sunlight. And through time, that belief grows unshakable roots that no storm can uproot. You want to destroy self-doubt? Then make this vow. You will never again wait for permission to believe in yourself. You will never again hand your confidence to another human being for validation. You will never again mistake humility for self-hatred. The warrior doesn't wait to be told he's worthy. He decides that he is, and then he proves it every day through action. He doesn't pray for confidence, he builds it. He doesn't chase approval, he commands respect through mastery. When belief becomes your foundation, every obstacle becomes a test of endurance rather than a signal to quit. When belief fills your lungs, failure becomes a temporary wound, not a mortal one. When belief becomes your identity, the universe itself begins to conspire in your favor because it recognizes the vibration of someone who knows who they are. You have been told to be realistic. No, be relentless. The world has enough doubters. Be the anomaly. Be the one who believes so completely that others start to question their disbelief. Because once you replace self-doubt with belief, something extraordinary happens. You stop being afraid of failure, and you start being afraid of wasting potential. You stop comparing yourself to others, and you start competing with your former self. You stop hoping for the best, and you start expecting it. Not because you're entitled, but because you're certain you'll earn it. That is the power of belief. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. It's realizing that the same creative force that moves the stars also runs through your veins. And to doubt yourself is to doubt that force. So look at your reflection tonight. Stare into your own eyes until you see the warrior behind them. And tell that voice of doubt, the one that's been whispering your whole life, you are done here. From this day forward, your belief is your weapon. Your faith in yourself is your fortress. And your action is your proof. Because when you believe, truly believe, there's nothing left to fear, only mountains left to climb. Step 4. Stop worshiping fear. Take calculated risks. Fear has a way of disguising itself as wisdom. It speaks softly, dressed in the robes of logic, whispering that it's protecting you. It tells you to be smart, to be careful, to wait for the right time. But it lies. Because beneath that calm voice is a parasite, one that feeds on your hesitation and grows stronger every time you choose comfort over courage. Overcaution is not intelligence. It's a slow surrender. It's the false belief that life can be survived by avoiding it. And most people, perhaps the majority of humanity, live and die in this illusion. They want guarantees before they act. They want to be certain before they leap. They want to see the path before they walk it. But the truth is, there is no certainty. The only guarantee in this life is that you will die. Everything else is risk. You risk when you love. You risk when you build. You risk when you speak, when you create, when you invest, when you dare. And if you think hiding from that risk will protect you, you are mistaken. Because the cost of avoiding risk is far greater than the cost of failure. The man who avoids risk avoids growth. He avoids pain, yes, but he also avoids transformation. He avoids the embarrassment of loss, but also the pride of victory. He lives long, perhaps, but he never lives deep. Let me tell you something grim, but true. You can die playing it safe. You can die in your routine. You can die in your comfort zone, surrounded by unfulfilled dreams and unused potential. There is no safety in stagnation. There is only decay. The overcautious live like ghosts haunting their own futures. They convince themselves that someday they'll take the leap. But someday never comes. They grow old replaying the same what-ifs, clinging to the illusion of security while life quietly slips away. Understand this. The moment you were born, it became risky. The air could fail you. The world could betray you. Time itself is your enemy. So why live as if safety is still an option? The wise do not seek to eliminate risk. They learn to master it. That's what separates the warrior from the coward. The coward hides from the storm. The warrior studies the wind, learns its rhythm, and sails straight through it. Fear, in its purest form, is information. It tells you where the edges are. It shows you what matters. But worshiping fear, letting it dictate your actions, is self-betrayal. Fear was meant to sharpen your instincts, not paralyze your will. You must stop treating fear like a god. Stop kneeling before it. Stop giving it your loyalty. Fear is not your master. It is your forge. And the only way to master it is through exposure. You cannot outthink fear. You must face it. Walk directly into what you dread most. Not recklessly, but deliberately. Face the confrontation you've been avoiding. Make the call you've been afraid to make. Take the step that makes your stomach twist. Because that's the path. That's where you grow. Fear isn't the enemy. Stagnation is. Fear means you're standing at the border of expansion. That trembling in your chest. That's your soul knocking on the door to your next level. And most never open it. But the few, the chosen few, the warriors, they push through. They open that door. They step into uncertainty willingly. Not because they're fearless, but because they understand something most don't. Fear is the compass that points to power. If something terrifies you, it's often because it threatens your comfort. And anything that threatens your comfort threatens the limits of who you think you are. That's the doorway to growth. You will never find yourself in comfort. You will find yourself in challenge, in pressure, in risk. Because pressure reveals truth. It shows you who you really are beneath the noise. The man who plays it safe will never know himself. He will never taste the thrill of victory or the sting of true defeat. He will never experience the violent beauty of life lived to the edge. And make no mistake, the edge is where the alchemy happens. When you're trembling, uncertain, afraid, that's where the universe starts whispering to you. That's where power is born. There is no freedom in safety. There is only a longer form of imprisonment. And every year you spend avoiding risk, your chains grow heavier. The world tells you to play it safe, to protect yourself, to wait until you're ready. But that advice is poison, because ready never comes. You are ready the moment you decide to move. The timid man says, "What if it goes wrong?" The warrior says, What if I never try? And that question, what if I never try, should haunt you. Because that's the question that echoes through eternity. The man who never risked anything dies with everything still inside him. He dies with songs unsung, books unwritten, ideas unbirthed, love unspoken. He dies safe and forgotten. But the warrior, he risks, he bleeds, he fails, he rebuilds, he endures. And in doing so, he becomes legend, not because he was fearless, but because he was willing to dance with fear and not break eye contact. Do not aim for safety. Aim for meaning. Meaning is not found in the shallow pools of security. It's found in the deep waters of uncertainty. It's found in the places where the weak dare not go. Take risks that matter. Calculated, disciplined, strategic, but bold. Risk your pride. Risk your comfort. Risk being misunderstood. Because every time you risk, you expand the boundaries of your life. Life is risk. Breathing is risk. Loving is risk. But regret is death. When you take risks, you may fall, but you will learn. And when you learn, you become dangerous. Because experience is the weapon of the wise. So step into the unknown. If you fall, rise again, wiser, stronger, sharper. If you succeed, remain humble and reach for higher ground. But whatever you do not stand still. The edge of fear is where your future is waiting. Walk toward it. Run if you must. But do not kneel before safety ever again. Because a man who risks nothing has already lost everything. Step 5. Guard your mind. Destroy negativity and complaints. The final enemy doesn't come with a sword. It comes with a sigh, with a groan, with a quiet voice muttering, "Why me?" Negativity and complaint. They are the slow corrosion of the soul. They don't rip your life apart overnight. They eat at you one bite at a time until you no longer remember what power ever felt like. Every complaint you speak, every negative thought you entertain is an offering to weakness. It's how you pray to failure. The truth is brutal. Every thought is a seed, and every word is a weapon. And most people are poisoning themselves without even realizing it. They wake up and scroll through outrage. They start their day inhaling garbage, feeding on conflict, surrounding themselves with emotional parasites. And then they wonder why their lives feel heavy, why opportunity never visits, why peace never stays. What they don't understand is this: the mind is sacred territory. What enters it shapes everything. The people you allow into it, the information you consume, the emotions you tolerate, they are the architects of your reality. Negativity is not harmless. It's not just venting. It's a rehearsal for defeat. Every time you complain, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who has no power. You're telling the universe, "I am a victim." And the universe, obedient and impartial, will deliver more evidence to prove you right. Stop feeding the disease. Stop worshiping misery like it gives you meaning. Because complaint feels good in the moment, but it steals from your future. It gives you the illusion of control while draining the energy required to actually change anything. You have to understand, energy is currency, and negativity is debt. Every time you speak despair, you borrow against your future potential. And one day, the bill comes due. In wasted time, in broken spirit, in shattered opportunity. The warrior cannot afford that kind of poverty. The warrior must protect his focus with the same ferocity a king guards his crown. That begins with awareness. You must become the sentinel at the gate of your mind. Watch what enters. Question every voice. Filter every influence. Every time you hear gossip, you decide, does this build my empire or drain it? Every time you watch something that fuels anxiety and hopelessness, you decide, does this strengthen my spirit or feed my fear? Every time someone complains to you, you choose, do I let this poison enter my system, or do I stand guard and reject it? The world will try to dump its trash in your mental fortress. You have to say no, because you are the one who has to live with the stench. Jim Rohn said, stand guard at the door of your mind. Understand what that really means. It means discipline in thought, ruthlessness in focus, and sacred responsibility for what you allow to grow inside you. A single negative idea, repeated long enough, becomes a belief. A single belief, accepted without resistance, becomes your reality. That's how most people build cages, from thoughts they never questioned. So build yours differently. Build your mind like a fortress. Keep the gates heavy, the guards sharp, and the standards high. If a thought enters that says, I can't, interrogate it. Where did it come from? Who benefits from you believing it? If a person enters your circle who constantly complains, confront it. If they won't change, remove them. Because energy is contagious, and the weak infect the willing. This is not about arrogance. It's about protection. The same way a warrior sharpens his blade before battle, you sharpen your mind before life. You cannot win a war with a dull sword, and you cannot build a kingdom with a polluted mind. Negativity makes the mind dull. Complaint makes the spirit fragile. They create rot, invisible at first, but deadly over time. The warrior doesn't waste words on complaint. He acts. He sees what's wrong and either fixes it or walks away. He never cries about the rain. He trains in it. He never begs for comfort. He builds resilience. He never curses his situation. He uses it as fuel. That's what makes him different. That's why he grows stronger when others crumble. There's an ancient law of mind. Whatever you focus on expands. Focus on pain, you'll find more pain. Focus on fear, you'll see more threats. Focus on power, you'll uncover more strength. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is shaped by what you allow to dominate your thoughts. So audit your inner dialogue. When your mind starts to complain, stop and ask, what can I control right now? Then do it. Because action is the antidote to negativity. Movement is the cure for despair. The complainer and the warrior both feel frustration, but the difference is what they do with it. The complainer talks. The warrior builds. The complainer blames. The warrior adapts. The complainer dies resentful. The warrior dies fulfilled. And here's the final truth most won't accept. You cannot hold on to negativity and expect to rise. You cannot feed on complaint and expect to find peace. You cannot poison your mind and expect your life to blossom. You must make your mind a weapon, sharp, silent, and sacred. That means training it daily. That means feeding it carefully. That means protecting it violently. Every morning, feed it gratitude, even for the smallest victories. Gratitude is the antidote to despair. Every day, feed it purpose. Remind yourself what you're fighting for. Purpose is the shield against distraction. Every night, feed it silence. Disconnect from the noise. Return to the stillness within. Silence is where the warrior sharpens his edge. And when you live like this, guarded, focused, grounded, negativity will bounce off you like arrows off armor. People will still complain, the world will still rage, but you'll move through it untouched, because your mind is no longer their playground. That's what it means to be truly free, not living without hardship, but living immune to corruption. When you master this, you stop being a product of your environment and start becoming the environment itself. Your calm becomes contagious. Your discipline becomes influence. Your energy becomes gravity, pulling others upward. That is the final stage of mastery. Not just guarding your mind for your own survival, but maintaining such internal purity that your very presence begins to cleanse the world around you. So from this day forward, stand guard. No complaints, no gossip, no despair, only truth, only action, only power. You are the sentinel at the gate of your mind, and what you allow through those gates determines the fate of your soul. Protect it like it's sacred, because it is. You've made it this far. That alone says something about you. Because most people don't finish what they start. They quit when the truth gets uncomfortable, when it cuts too deep, when it asks them to face themselves without the mask. But not you. You stayed. You listened. You felt it. And now you understand what this has all been about. This isn't just a lesson. It's a war map. The world you walk in is not neutral. It's designed to keep you soft, distracted, and asleep. But these 5 steps, these are your weapons. Step 1 taught you to burn indifference, to pour every ounce of life into everything you touch, because drifting is death. Step 2 showed you that hesitation is poison, that clarity belongs to those who move. Step 3 forged belief, the armor of faith that turns fear into fuel. Step 4 reminded you that risk is sacred, that safety is the slowest form of self-destruction. And Step 5 commanded you to guard your mind, to protect your focus, and reject the mental rot that enslaves most men. Each step alone is powerful, but together, they become a code, a creed, a way of life. This is the way of the awakened, the way of those who rise while others sleep, the way of those who dare to live deliberately in a world addicted to distraction. Understand this. The enemy is not out there. The enemy lives within, in the whispers of apathy, in the tremors of doubt, in the lies of safety, in the temptation to complain. That is the battlefield. And every morning you wake up, the war begins again. The moment your eyes open, the world tries to infiltrate your mind, to feed you noise, to lower your vibration, to convince you that your life isn't in your control. But the warrior knows better. The warrior doesn't react. He chooses. He chooses where to place his attention, how to spend his energy, what to allow into his spirit. That is self-mastery. And self-mastery is the only freedom left in this world. No government can grant it. No system can sustain it. No mentor can give it to you. You must build it. Brick by brick, choice by choice, battle by battle. You must live with intention, because the world is engineered to dull you, to drown your purpose in pleasure, to trade your passion for comfort, to sell you safety in exchange for your soul. But once you've seen the truth, you can never unsee it. Once you've stood in the silence and felt that spark, that sacred, violent urge to become something more, you know what you're meant for. You know what must die inside you for the real you to live. So from this moment forward, you will not move like the rest of them. You will walk differently, think differently, breathe differently, because you are no longer one of the sleeping. You are awake, and that means you have responsibility to guard your mind, to control your thoughts, to master your emotions, to walk through chaos untouched, to remain calm in the face of fear, focused in the storm, relentless when others fall apart. And when the world tries to tempt you with shortcuts, with distraction, with noise, remember, every battle of the mind is won in silence. when you choose to be still, when you choose to think, when you choose to move with precision rather than panic. That's what this path demands. Discipline, awareness, power under control. Because the weak react, but the warrior responds. And when you live like that, when you guard your mind, protect your energy, and pursue purpose with obsession, you become something the world cannot manipulate. You become dangerous. Not because you seek to harm, but because you cannot be controlled. The world doesn't fear your strength. It fears your independence. It fears your focus. It fears your clarity. It fears the man who thinks for himself, who acts with discipline, who refuses to bend to the noise. So let them live in comfort. Let them complain. Let them drown in mediocrity and call it peace. You will rise. You will walk the harder road. You will embrace risk. You will burn indifference. You will choose movement. You will cultivate belief. You will guard your mental fortress until nothing enters it that doesn't serve your mission. And when the weak ask you, why do you live this way? You'll look them in the eyes and say, because I refuse to die the same as them. Soft, distracted, and forgotten. Your mind is your kingdom. Your discipline is your weapon. Your purpose is your crown. Guard them all, because they are sacred. And when you master them, you will not just survive this world, you will bend it.